Excellent. Thank you so much. I want to thank all of our award winners for sharing their thoughts. And now I think it's pretty obvious why they're all winners today. But before we get to the awards, we've got our NAMEPA Annual General Meeting. And please stay on because you'll learn something more about NAMEPA. And of course, we want our members to see how busy we've been, and we want you to know that as well. So Joe, do you want to kick us off?
Well, I will do that with pleasure, but I say to begin with that the sessions we've had today have been absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. I cannot think in my years with NAMEPA that we've had such a very broad range of subject matter experts discussing such a wide range of different things as they affect the marine environment as we've had this afternoon. And it's all very, very impressive indeed. I also want to thank you, Carleen, and your team for the fantastic work that you've done in putting this all together. You know, we take for granted with the wizardry of modern technology that all this is very easily done. But I mean, for me, a true techno poop, you know, the modern equivalent of a nincompoop, you understand, this is really wonderful to have people clearly from all parts of the world, mainly I suspect in North America, but from other parts of the world, being able to contribute to such remarkable effect over the last several hours. And thank you very much indeed, again, everybody who's participated, those that have made presentations, Myra, for your work as a coordinator, Anuj and Jan Willem. Yes, it now falls upon me actually to begin the annual meeting of NAMEPA. As chairman. As Carleen said, if you are not a member, you may remain on, but it'd be much better if you were a member. And those that are interested in becoming a member, I trust all of you who are not members, we can get membership forms out to you very quickly indeed. I want to begin by introducing you to NAMEPA's board of directors. There they are on the screen at the moment. In alphabetical order. They are Niels Orland, who you can see there in the top left-hand corner, who's based in Houston of WGMA. Humira Ahmed of Liska. Jan Hagen Andersen of DNV-GL. Captain Steve Baumgartner of the Bahamas Maritime Authority. Joan Bondareth of Blank Rome LLP. Gareth, I'm being a Welshman, I have to call you Gareth, not Garth. Gareth Burton of the American Bureau of Shipping, Steve Gandito of Echo Claw, Chris Cannon of the Port of Los Angeles, Anuj Chopra of Rightship, Fred Gordon of Navios Maritime Acquisition Corporation, Marina Hadjipateras of Dorian LPG, Cynthia Hudson of Hudson Analytics, Kevin Humphreys of Wärtsilä, Clay Maitland, one of the founders, along with Carleen of NAMEPA back in 2007, and the chairman of NAMEPA until I took over from him in 2016. He's from International Registries, of course, one of the founders there too. Doug Martin of Smith Salvage. Alejandro Tio-Mencelli of TGM Fleet and Consulting Services. Brian Salerno of CLEAR, the Cruise Line Industry Association. Paul Rosenblum of NAMA, that is the North American Maritime Ministry Association, Ulla Christian Schroeder of Scorpio Tankers, Paul Scope of BERMEPA and Willis Towers Watson, actually, based in Bermuda, as you might gather, with the Burr bit of the MEPA. Rear Admiral Duncan Smith, retired, of the Smith Advocacy Group. James Spear, who is our Seafarer board member. And last but certainly by no means least, Jan Willem van den Dijssel of Cargill Ocean Transportation. So there they are. There we are. I hope you
There we go. And it's my turn to introduce the NAMEPA staff. You've seen their names, you've seen their emails. Now you get a chance to see their faces. We have Lynn Harris, who is the COO. Gail Nicholas, Development Director, Lisa Piastish, Education and Outreach Director, Jeannie Devaney, Office Manager, Molly Duche, Digital Marketing Director and Education Associate, Ricky McDaniel, who's our West Coast Education Director and Outreach Associate, Marcella Crowley, Project Director, Jean Gould, our Gulf Coast Regional Director, Rachel Pravetti, Digital Media Associate, Andrea Duran, Communications Associate, and our newest staff member as of Monday, Cecilia Arnson, who's a Development Associate. So we're delighted to have all of them, and they work really hard to make this organization great.
Excellent, thank you. We have to work incredibly hard, you understand, actually, to achieve gender equality in NAMEPA. And I think in the more unusual direction, quite frankly, I've often said, you know, that the Y chromosome is a dying breed, and NAMEPA is proof of that assertion. Anyway, but seriously, I would like to draw the meeting to order, call it to order. As a first item on the agenda, I will thank again everybody for being present at the annual meeting. We have been working through the most difficult times caused by the exigencies of the pandemic over the past several months. And of course, very new working habits have actually been introduced for all of us over that time. But notwithstanding the difficulties that we've had to face, we have never launched so many products for both industry and the public. And we have also at the same time been able, in doing that, been able to provide, or certainly hope we've been able to provide, the important services to the public at large. When the COVID crisis hit back in March, we did actually immediately respond with the Parents Survival Series in order to assist parents with the education of their young children now at home on issues of the sea in general, not just maritime protection per se, but the oceans in general and the importance of the shipping industry. And the Change One Habit program, which again, I suspect many of you have seen through communications from NAMEPA on the issue of preserving the marine environment just by changing one single thing in terms of the way that you typically behave. We have also over the summer, it long seems past now, although it's been quite nice here in Connecticut over the last several days, been supporting programs with related learning opportunities so that children, and they are an incredible important constituency that we're aiming at. I think it was Peg who said, you know, that she learned the love of the sea when she was sailing on board those training vessels, and Jeannie, you know, said the same thing. I think it was Jean-Jacques Rousseau who said, show me the child under the age of 7 and I will show you the adult. And I think that the enthusiasm we can inculcate in the younger generation in this context is vitally important in promoting in later life a deep appreciation for the maritime environment and all that it brings to the world. Carleen obviously has been at the forefront, the great helmsman of all this over the last several months, as she always has been since 2007, I hasten to add, and I'm sure that she will want to provide a more detailed review of activities over the last 12 months. Carleen.
Thank you very much, Joe. And I'm just going to do a whirlwind overview because we have so many great projects to talk about in terms of what we've been developing and working on. But just to give you a quick year in review in terms of significant opportunities, we did an international beach cleanup in Cayman, along with CARA, MEPA, and WISTA. We were pleased to partner with them on that last year. I was asked to testify in Long Beach. There was an expansion of a pier there in order to bring a larger vessel but it was less environmental impacts. But there were still some local people who needed to better understand the international regulatory framework of our industry, because there's still a perception that once we sail over the horizon that we're polluting in the air and dumping into the sea. So I was able to represent the industry in Long Beach at a city commissioner meeting, and that was very interesting. I was invited to present an update on the maritime industry to the Canadian Coast Guard in St. John's, Newfoundland, and they are goofy Newfie, but it was a wonderful opportunity. In January, NAMEPA went to the Super Bowl. We partnered with the Ovi Mugelli Foundation to do a green tailgate, both for adults and for high school students in Fort Lauderdale. So it was very exciting. In this past year, we've signed an MOU with LAMI, the Los Angeles Maritime Institute, Alta Seas, which is a think tank in Los Angeles, as well as the Maritime Administration on educational projects. I've been invited to lecture at Southern Connecticut University in their business school, talking about not only the value proposition of our industry, but the various components about our industry that might be appealing to business school students. We were involved in the Port of the Future event in Houston. Just as Joe has mentioned, we have, as an organization, applied for when the COVID crisis hit and many nonprofits were impacted. We did apply for PPP funding or EIDL funding, but we were not accepted into those programs. But our board members, I want you to know that our board members really stepped up, reached deep, and have done a tremendous job supporting this organization, as have many of you members. We have continued to do some of our physical activities that were outdoors and socially distanced. In fact, yesterday, Lisa was with the local Girl Scout troop doing a beach cleanup. And they're all masked, they're all wearing gloves, and they're all really helping to save our seas. This summer, we held a board retreat. Again, this was a virtual retreat, really developing the strategic plan. And you're going to hear a little bit more about that from Jan Willem van den Diesel. But we had nearly full board engagement, and the topic under consideration was sustainability. So we want you to know that the board is engaged with this, the staff is engaged with this, and it really is showing in our ability to expand our programming. We, of course, participate in the International Cleanup Program, and then this past month, we organized a MEPA pavilion at Shipping Insight. So we had ourselves, we had OSMEPA, TERMEPA, and SciMEPA. So we had a gathering of the MEPAs at the Shipping Insight exhibition. We also had a booth at CMA. So that covers sort of a whirlwind overview of some of our activities. We'll talk more about some of our projects and programs that we've been working on as we go into this agenda.
Thank you very much, Carleen. The next item on the agenda is the financial report, and the head of our Finance Committee, Anuj Chopra, will provide a report on that subject. Anuj.
Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you. We are solvent and all accounts have been audited and approved by the board. If any of the members would like a copy of those, please reach out to Carleen or myself, and we'd be delighted to provide that information to you. You've seen the amount of programs which we are involved in, what all we're doing. And looking from the money side, our revenue comes from perhaps three large buckets: events, sponsorships and grants, and membership. And I wanted to reach out to all of you and say, if you're not a member, you need to be a member. And if you are a member, get another member so that you support us in getting more good work out of NAMEPA. As you've seen, we've got some amazing programs, and they need your support and dedication and participation. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Anuj. Yes, I mean, obviously, some of the regular pipelines of revenue that Anuj was referring to have been somewhat curtailed during the pandemic. And, you know, that inevitably has caused something of a fall off in the revenue stream. But we do encourage you, particularly as we come towards the end of the year now, we're beginning a new financial year, actually. If you're not a member, do join. And if there's anything you can do to assist us in proselytizing the virtues and the considerable benefits that inure to the benefit of members of NAMEPA, we will certainly encourage that. And we would be very grateful indeed to expand the membership and your efforts to expand the membership accordingly. On membership, therefore, I ask Gail Nicholas, who is a member of the executive team at NAMEPA, to provide an update.
Thank you so much. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to be with you. I wish it could be in person, but I would like to, before I begin my report, say a thank you to all our sponsors without whom this event would not be possible. We are very grateful to all of them. I'd now like to do a brief overview of our membership. We're currently at 200 plus members strong from associations, academies, corporations, individuals, seafarers. Despite the 2020 condition, the membership numbers have remained for the most part steady. I would at this time like to introduce our newest 2020 corporate members. They are the Bahama Maritime Authority, Cheniere Energy, P Ships, the Long Beach Port, the Seabury Maritime, Tri-World Shipping Services, and United Bulk Carriers. And I would like to acknowledge that we have Amar Mustafas with us today and would like to thank him for his participation. See what becoming a new member could lead to. Welcome to each and every one of you. We are so pleased to have you all aboard. As you can see, the new members are from a cross-section of our industry, highlighting NAMEPA's wide-reaching appeal. After every annual conference, our attention turns to the coming year, our renewals, and our identification of new members. And the board's development committee, chaired by Kevin Humphreys of Wartsila, has been a great help in the past. We know that peer-to-peer recruitment is the best way to approach new prospects, and we are delighted to have such an engaged board to assist with this. And we hope to identify and bring aboard a slew of new people as conditions in 2021 hopefully improve. Everyone else has asked for all of you to consider membership, so I'll skip over that part. Please do reach out to us if you'd like to become a member of this wonderful organization. At this time, I'd like to recognize milestone anniversaries of our corporate members who will be receiving certificates at a later date, of course. Our 10-year corporate member milestones are Bureau Veritas Marine, and I'm pleased to recognize Daniel Holmes, who's with us today. Smith Salvage Americas. I would also like to thank Doug for the sponsorship and for his participation today. He is a board member as well. And Total Marine Solutions. All of these three have been with us for 10 years. Our 5-year recognitions are for Class NK, FedNav, GMS USA, Lisker, Port Everglades, and Shoreline Managers. I would also like to acknowledge Art Sulzer, who's an individual member. It's his 5th anniversary today, and he is with us. So congratulations to all. NAMEPA would not be what it is today if it wasn't for all of you. In our efforts to promote NAMEPA and recruit new members at every level, we have developed a short video entitled Meet NAMEPA. We will place this video on our social media outlets as well as on our website, and we're going to have a chance to have a look at it right now.
What is NAMEPA? More like, who is NAMEPA? NAMEPA is the North American Marine Environment Protection Association. That means we're dedicated to preserving the marine environment by promoting marine industry best practices. Trade is the lifeblood of our economy and our world, and the maritime transport industry is an essential part of it. So how can commerce be balanced with conservation? That's where we come in. We educate the public about the need for water sources and the best strategies on how to do that. Because we need new and innovative ideas, efforts, and solutions to a global problem. So we lead initiatives like Save Our Seas, where we recognize individuals, associations, organizations, and companies that demonstrate outstanding achievements in protecting the environment from pollution. So who are we? We're students, CEOs, national agencies, engineers, scientists, and so much more. Get to know us. Subscribe to our newsletter. Become a member. Follow us.
Thank you very much, Gail. That was yeah. There we are. Is that it, Gail? Shall I'll continue now down the agenda if I may, or do you wish to say some more things? I can't hear.
No, that's okay. Thank you, Joe. We can move on.
Thank you. Right, splendid. Okay, very good. The next item concerns program development, of course, which is very, very much at the heart of what we do. Carlene, I think you can tell us a bit about that now.
Well, I just want to review some dates with everyone, and these will be published on our website. These are for our events in 2021. We are anticipating that at least for the first half of the year, our events will be held virtually. Normally, we would be held physically in Houston and Washington, D.C., but given the COVID period, we're anticipating that they will be virtual events. So we're looking at February 25th. It would be in Houston, but it's going to be virtual. May 20th is National Maritime Day Safety at Sea in Amber in Washington, D.C., or virtual. June 12th is the Marina Cleanup Day. We are active with Ocean Conservancy on Marina Cleanup Day. September 18th is International Coastal Cleanup Day. Then October 28th of next year, our Marine Environment Protection Conference and Awards event, usually in New York City. We hope it will be in New York City, and that will be either physical or hybrid. We have conferences that we're invited to participate in throughout the year. The next event that I've been invited to is November 23rd. It's virtual. It's the Maritime CEO. So it's about women executives in the shipping industry. So thank you, Joe, for that.
Excellent. That's super. Education, of course, as we've mentioned during the course of the presentations, is a very, very important part of what NAMEPA does. And Lisa Piastuk, I think, is about that. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. So I'm just going to give you a little overview of what education has accomplished this year. We are very happy to say that we now have all of our materials in 3 different languages. We have them available in French, thanks to TransCanada for going through and translating everything for us. And we have limited offerings in Spanish, but we're hoping to get the rest of them done for the next few months. And all of these will be available free to download on our website. Next slide, please. Our adoptership program really took off this year. Even with COVID and schools closing or going distance, we were able to engage 5 different classrooms throughout North America with ships that are traveling throughout our globe. There's been amazing weekly exchanges between the classrooms and the senior officers. And you can see some of the images here. The students are tracking their ship with the map. The officers have been sending images from life on board the ships. So it's been a wonderful program with great feedback. And we're looking forward to adding more classrooms and ships in the coming year. Next slide, please. We also have our Marine Awareness Environmental Training Program. That's the online computer-based program. It's doing amazingly well. Over 130 individuals have successfully completed this program, learning, getting a comprehensive view of the marine environment, as well as the impacts of shipboard waste and discharge and spills as well. Next slide, please. Our CSR ESG Maritime Sustainability Passport was launched earlier this summer. It is based on the 6 pillars, and to date we had 3 corporate members, 1 individual that are currently engaged in the program. We're adding more every day, and we're really excited to be having a toolkit of resources that will be available soon to all of those individuals and members who have gone through the program. Next slide, please. As Carly had mentioned earlier, we were down in Florida at the Super Bowl earlier this year, and we premiered our Green Tailgate event in conjunction with the Ovi Mahalli Foundation. And essentially, we were engaging with the students and the community, teach them about marine debris, specifically plastics, and how they can responsibly manage their plastics. And we did this through a bunch of engaging and fun activities. You can see these images. The students are putting together a timeline of how long things take to break down. They're actively doing the recycling on the run, which is like an obstacle course with recyclables. We brought in some local foods so they can understand the impact of eating locally. And we're also very honored to have some of our local partners, as well as the Coast Guard who came in, who volunteered their time to engage with the students and participate as well. Next slide, please. Social media has been doing wonderful. We have, as Carly mentioned earlier, we've got 2 new people on board, our staff, who have been taking it to a new level. We did a couple ads through Facebook, reaching over 8,000 new users. Our Instagram account has had more and more likes as well. And people have been particularly interested in our Species Sundays. So we will continue our campaigns into 2021. So make sure you like us and follow us on all our social media outlets. Next slide, please. And I'm really excited to say that our new online, completely virtual and downloadable program called Planet and Ocean Discovery Series will be going live at the end of this year. We have 3 different series. One is coastal habitats, one is going to be open ocean, and one is going to be inland waterways. And our coastal habitat will be available online by the end of this year. We'll be talking about wetlands and mangroves, coral reefs. And then next year, we'll get the other 2 online. So it'll be a full, again, free for all. It'll be great for any teachers who have to have distant learning because it aligns with all those NGSS standards. Next slide, please. And our calendar, even again, with all that COVID threw at us, we were able to have a very successful art calendar. We had our 12 finalists were selected, thanks to many of our members and our board and our partners who helped out judging and also getting the information out to all of our students. The calendars went to print this week, and they'll be available mid-November. But as you see on the screen, this is just a little sneak preview of some of the amazing artwork that we received from all of our students in the K through 12 grades. Next slide, please. And our outreach. We were a little limited this year due to all the social distancing and COVID, but we still did our collaborations with our YMCA with some local outreach. We did the Catch a Curl with New England Science and Salient Science Foundation. We're still working with LAMI, Altaseas, so we are continuing to do as much as we can outreach, whether it's digital or in person. We were also attended and presented at a variety of virtual events. We were once again at Capitol Hill, virtually. We were part of Shipping Insights. We presented to the Americans Boating Club. So we are still trying to reach many, many people, whether it's students, teachers, individuals, through all of our resources, which are both printed and are virtual. And one other thing is, together we can save our seas. And that togetherness goes beyond just the staff that you see and the board and our partners. We have a lot of interns that come to us throughout the year. And I have to say, we've been blessed with the quality of our interns. They are very involved, very enthused, and they've moved on from NAMEPA and have gone to various places in their own careers. And so we put together a little video just to show you where our, some of those interns are now and how their internship at NAMEPA took them to that next level.
Well, this will be another thing that goes on our website, and I hope you take the time to look at it, because we've been blessed with wonderful interns, and they've gone on to do remarkable things. The only one that hasn't gone on is Molly Duche. She's still with us, but we've got she's still contributing to the marine environment protection. In fact, she's going to get a master's in education so she can teach marine sciences. So NAMEPA's had a tremendous impact.
Yes, I attest to that. I mean, the support that that the interns provide throughout the year actually is absolutely exceptional, and it's a very, very great source of strength to us all. So anybody who wants to look at that on the website can in due course. And I think that everybody will agree that the depth and breadth of what we do from an educational point of view in multiple languages, ladies and gentlemen, is really very impressive. But again, it's part of our core mission, so we're very proud of it right So my suggestion. Strategic positioning, of course, is also very important. And Carly, I think you're going to talk to us about this now.
Well, I'm going to give some details, but before I get started, I'd like to invite Jan Willem van de Diesel who is, he and Cynthia Hudson head our strategic planning committee, and he's going to give a brief overview of what the strategic planning process is and where we're going with it. Jan Willem?
Hello, back again. Yeah, I will give you a brief overview of what we've been working on for a good year now. First off, NAMEPA has stated objectives on its website, and we voted on 3 top priorities to work on the coming years. That doesn't mean that other objectives are not important, but we felt to get focus, we decided on 3. And I'll explain a little bit what they are and what we plan to do within those. So the first one is to encourage effective compliance of its members with national and international laws and regulations adopted for the protection of the marine environment from pollution. So this objective is targeted at our own membership. 2 main themes within that we're going to work on is, one is a pledge that all our members can voluntarily sign up to if they feel it's correct. So the next thing we'll be working on is signing up the wording for that pledge. It will involve some of the themes and objectives that we've already used to date and probably can find on the website today, but we'll come back on that. Secondly, there was a strong notion working on these strategic objectives that actually engaging more board members was a very engaging thing. And that led us to think, well, maybe we should engage much more of a membership as well, because it's a volunteer organization for a large part. And I think if we share all the ideas from our own members that are already going on and share the best ideas within our community within NAMEPA, there will be plenty to talk and showcase and to learn from each other. Just look at this seminar today, huge amount of input and learnings from the various speakers. The second objective is to educate the public. So this is externally focused about the value proposition of the maritime industry. So this goes beyond just purely maritime protection. This is about the value proposition of the maritime industry. We had another discussion today and we concluded that honestly, the IMO has a part role in this. Maybe the MARAD, the US Maritime Administration has a role to play, chambers of commerce, chambers of shipping, but honestly, not enough is done in that regard. So we have a role to play there. Thirdly, educate the public, again, externally focused, to talk about maritime's commitment to environmental protection so that it's much better and wider understood and recognized. That sub-team also figured that it's probably best to subdivide Cargill's membership and release on a quarterly basis a special about what is happening by various subsection of our membership, call it tanker owners, bulk carrier owners, inland waterways, the cruise industry, and so on. I didn't want to exclude anybody, but we have many different groups within our membership. And the other thing that we noticed that we should leverage existing technology. We are not an association with unlimited means, but COVID has shown us that we can do things virtually. And I think there's a huge opportunity to leverage existing technologies, and there are some out there. So we'll be studying those and see how we can advance on these 3 strategic objectives. And I think with that, I'll give it back to Carly.
Oh, thank you very much, Jan. I'm just going to quickly underscore the fact that we are working very diligently on sustainability for our industry. As was mentioned by Lisa, we launched our CSR ESG toolkit for members, where you can obtain your maritime sustainability passport. And we have a number of organizations that either have gone through it or are going through it currently. So that is really picking up traction. We have our computer-based training program for mariners and for shoreside staff on marine environment awareness. Gail talked about our new member campaign. We're also building the NAMEPA chapters throughout North America. And one of the ways we're doing that is we've recently been asked to take on the management of MIPSIC, which is the Maritime Primary and Secondary Education Coalition. So that is an organization of all of the maritime high schools and academies throughout the United States. So we will be getting involved with them directly. And that'll help us as we build our chapter base. And then finally, I just wanted to let you know that NAMEPA was a little quiet for a number of months based on the COVID, but we are getting back in gear and engaging in our mission to increase the adoption and implementation of MARPOL in the Caribbean. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Carly, and thank you, Jan Willem, very much too for your presentation on the long-term strategic positioning of NAMEPA, all very important. The next item, before we go on to video and adjournment and then on to the awards program, according to our bylaws, we are required to ask the membership to affirm the service of your board of directors. And I would ask, as a matter of formality, that you would please, present here as members, raise your hands on your team screen dashboard, if you would please, to make such an affirmation. Thank you. Entitled to do that. Well, I think we probably assume that a sufficient number of people have actually complied with that of the board and the organisation, that it can be regarded as a motion seconded and carried. So thank you very much indeed, everyone. As I said, before we go into adjournment and the awards ceremony, Carleen, I think you've got your traditional year in review video to show us, which is always terribly entertaining. We can't wait, really. So
well, it won't be quite as entertaining without me dancing to it.
I know.
But we'll give it a shot.
On screen, then we can take it the same way.
Okay.
We can take it high. I can't hear the
Anything.
sound from your mouth, and I know my number's up. Give me some CV wonder. Click, put it on before we go under. I can't see the lightning coming from your ears. Yeah, I see you're frightened. I can't see the lion sleeps tonight in the tears you're crying. Ooh, can't love me unless you love you too. Treat yourself like nothing but a fool.
Well, I tried to dance. What can I say? Oh, by the way, for those who aren't aware, Obi Mugeli was a National Football League star, and he's now retired, but it's wonderful how we partnered with him and his engagement with young people and really encouraging them to move forward with their lives and be sustainable in their habits.